expensive, it's not that difficult, and there's an unknown number of companies out there, not just the certificate authorities, but all of the companies that have intermediate certificates. They can all issue certificates for your domains. How did we screw this up this badly? So, it's not that the companies, a lot of people love blaming the certificate authorities. They do. They love saying, oh, evil VeriSign, evil this, evil that. You know, why don't they do the right thing? Look, I have spent time talking to all of them. They all do the best with what they have. But I'm telling you, what they have, this is the best they can offer. Name constraints is not reliable. There's customers who have huge networks. They require intermediate certs, and everybody can issue the same intermediate. People just shrug their shoulders and say, fine, we'll take the payday and hope for the best. What are they going to do? It's the best the technology offers. And that's why we need better technology. So this system is starting to fray pretty badly. 2008 in particular was really not a good year for the X509 certificate authorities. Mike Zussman went ahead and bypassed Komodo's security checks by saying, hey, you know, I have this internal server and it's called www.live.com. And they're like, okay, well, it's internal. It can have whatever name it wants. God damn it. Well, when I hacked DNS, I happened to also hack the DNS query used by domain validators. And it wasn't just me. I mean, that year I hacked DNS. Avi Pilasov showed how to basically effectively interpolate BGP such that all traffic from a certificate authority would, instead of going wherever it was supposed to go, would go to him. Now, the difference between my attack and Pilasov's attack is my attack doesn't work anymore. His attack is going to work till the end of time. So the big hack of 2008 was Stevens and Sodorov's work against MD5 that was actually presented here. And this was really cool work. So the deal is, and it gets a little more technical finally, when a certificate authority, a country, deems you worthy of a certificate or a passport, it signs, creates a passport with a hologram, your public key, your photo. Now this signing requires two steps. First, it requires securely hashing the certificate. This is creating a summary. You don't sign everything. You don't put your hologram on everything. You basically put your hologram on a summary of what is there. And the summarization work is called a hash. Now, the hash that a lot of people still use to this day is called MD5. MD5 has been known to be broken since approximately 1994. We're still using it. Crypto vulns tend to break in slow motion. So we knew in 2004 this thing was going to break. And basically every 2 years it gets worse. What Stevens and Sodorov found was that one of the certificate authorities, which since had been bought by VeriSign, RapidSSL, was actually using MD5 as its hashing algorithm. So when RapidSSL asserted an identity, it would summarize the identity using the MD5 hash. What the most recent and most interesting MD5 break actually came from Stevens and Arjun Lenstra. And what they found was what they call a chosen prefix collision attack. The idea is you have two files, and they have totally different beginnings, totally different content, whatever. So they're going along, they're totally different. Then you put a magic blob on, bam. And this magic blob synchronizes the hashes. So now, as long as whatever comes after is the same, the ultimate hashes will be the same. Now this means you have two different inputs with the same summary output. Meaning the certificate authority can think it's signing something saying, hi, I'm some big long domain name.com, but what actually anyone in the field sees is, hi, I'm God, and you can tell because RapidSSL says so. Beautiful attack. And they just to give them credit, they actually ended up having to do some like crazy stunts with the serial number that the certificate authority applied to that particular certificate and timed it out to the second so that it would all work. Those were actually really cool. So it turns out there's a lot more where that came from. X509 is not just bad from a business process representation standpoint. No, the technology is actually really bad in and of itself. It's remarkably fragile. At pretty much every depth that we have examined it, we have found significant issues. Consider hashing functions. MD5 is not the only deprecated hashing function in X509, at least in common implementations. MD2 is there as well. MD2 is the predecessor to the predecessor of MD5. There actually was no MD3. There's just 2, 4, and 5. If a certificate is signed with MD2 RSA, everything as of a few months ago, except for GNU TLS, will accept it. Now, this shouldn't matter, because Stevens and Soderov attacked MD5, and when they attacked MD5, they attacked it in real time, meaning right now, today, or at least right then 1 year ago, some idiot out there is applying MD5 to incoming certificates. Nobody has been applying MD2 to anything for almost a decade. So we shouldn't be able to do anything, right? Well, anyone here familiar with the Final Destination theory, Final Destination series of movies? Few of you. So in Final Destination, what happens is somebody kind of realizes death is about to come, wipe out a bunch of his friends, and warns everyone and gets them out of the way. And the entire rest of the movie is death getting its revenge by killing people in really spectacular ways, but slowly. Cryptographic vulnerabilities tend to be subtle and telegraphed years, sometimes decades in advance. We don't know how they'll burn us. We certainly don't know when they'll burn us, but we do know we're going to get burned, and historically we do know it's going to be pretty epic. So the relationship to the Final Destination series is left an exercise to the reader. So let's start by looking at VeriSign's root certificate. Holy crap, it's self-signed with MD2. But it's okay. It's not going to be a problem forever. It's going to expire in 2028. Jesus. So, why is it signed at all? It's a root certificate. You don't trust it because it has a signature. You trust it because it shipped with your browser. That MD2 certificate, that self-signature, no value whatsoever. Why is it there? Well, the best theory I have, and if you were there, you're welcome to say, no, Dan, that's crazy talk. But the best theory I have, having worked with a bunch of ASN1 libraries, is so ASN1 is the encoding underneath X509. And when it says, I want to see a signature, it's got to get what it wants or it errors out. So rather than making the certificate optional, the signature optional, I think the guys just said, I know, why don't we just self-sign? It'll be totally meaningless, but it'll stop the parser from complaining. And as everyone knows, more crypto equals more security. So this totally worthless thing from 1996 is sitting there with an MD2 certificate. Why was it signed with MD2? I mean, didn't they have better options? Well, according to Gutman,